Before we jump into designing an engaging Shopify website, I want to walk you through how to actually use Shopify as a platform. This is going to be a video full of a bunch of content, so take notes and of course learn at your own pace. I'm not going to cover how to do all of this basic stuff anywhere else in this course. And also, be resourceful. Keep in mind that Shopify also offers their own suite of resources, usually in the form of very easy to read and follow written guides on their website. So if you forget how to make a page, make changes to navigation, or anything like that, just go ahead and go to their website for a reminder on that information. I'm going to teach you guys visually because that's the easiest way to learn, but again, if you need a reminder, go with the PDF. All right, enough talking. Let's dive right into Shopify.
All right, let's take a look at Shopify, and after this lesson, you'll have everything you need to know how to leverage this platform like a boss. The first place is the home screen. Nothing really crazy happens here, except for that you might get notifications on the dashboard over here with sales data, and as well as when Shopify wants you to provide additional documentation, or if Shopify really needs to contact you. Next up on the left-hand side, you've got orders. This is where you can see a list of all your historical orders and also the data on the customers that bought, which item they bought, their address, everything you need to know from there. And this is also where you can export a lot of your customers' information. And here is where you can make draft orders. This is not really something you have to do. And then abandoned checkouts. This is where it'll give you all the information on people that initiated a checkout process, inputted their email and their phone number, but actually never decided to purchase your item. Furthermore, we're going to go down and you've got products. This will list all the products that are available on your store, even the products that you've decided to turn off. So if you have a particular product that you've added in that you don't really want to sell, all you have to do here is go to manage and then click that. And then it will be a product that only you can see on the back end of Shopify, something that no customers will be able to see. And under products, you've got transfers. This is not really something you have to worry about when you're drop shipping. This is for inventory transfers. Inventory is also something you don't really need to worry about at this point either. And this is collections. We've already talked about how you can make collections both by turning collections from tags as well as collections just manually as well. So for example, if I wanted to add something to the joggers collection, all I have to do is click browse, and this is my full catalog as of now. Let's say this was another pair of joggers. I simply would add it, and bam, it's gonna be here at the collection level. And you can also arrange collections based on best selling or by manually. And this is all you have to really know about collections, is that you can change them, and you can also make collections go offline or online, just like we did with products. Next up, you have gift cards. Again, this is not something you really have to worry about either. And keep in mind, this whole tutorial, I'm on the Shopify plan that's above basic and under advanced. So your view is going to change depending on which plan that you've chosen. Next up, we've got customers. This is where you can see all of the data on your customers. And this is also where you can export your customers' information in order to make custom audiences, which we'll cover at a later date. But this is a very, very powerful area in Shopify. Up next, we've got analytics, and this is all of basically the data that Shopify is tracking in real time and will feed back to you so you can make very effective decisions. You can change the time window in which the data is shown, and this is very intuitive. You got total sales, right? This is basically going to be your sales minus your refunds. Here you have how many online store sessions you've had, and keep in mind that this is not unique. So when you have very low traffic in the beginning, you visiting your own website just to see it, just to check it out, is going to impact this number. Return customer rate, super self-explanatory. Total orders, average order value, online store conversion rate. You can see how many products are sold and also what your top products are, your online store sessions by traffic source, whether it's from Facebook, whether it's from Google. You can see it by location, and a lot of this data is also tracked by Ad Manager. But just remember, one big detail is Ad Manager is not going to record everything that happens on Shopify, but Shopify is going to obviously record everything that happens with your business. So Up next, we've got the reports. This is a very neat area of Shopify as well. You can see things like sales over time, sales by product, even sales by particular variants. If you want to know which particular size is selling better than other ones. For example, if you see that sales are very skewed towards large and extra large, then it's something you can bring up with your supplier, right? Hey, it seems like most of the customers are buying from my store are really interested in larger sizes. Is there a way that we can even add additional SKUs that are even bigger? And again, a bunch of data over here. You don't really have to worry about acquisition. This is customer analysis. This is profit margin. Again, this is not going to be very, very accurate because we're going to be drop shipping. So you don't have to really worry about any of these analysis. But these reports on the side here are really, really cool to look at. This is a live view of your store, and this is really exciting, especially when I first started. It was so fun looking at this. You can literally see in real time how many people are on your website right now and what they're doing, right? You can see how many active carts you are, how many people are checking out, and on a very, very big store where there's a lot of activity going on, you can always see this happening, and you can almost predict purchases before they even happen. And it gives you a breakdown live of where everyone's logging in from. So you can see I live in Los Angeles and it's recording me right over here. Up next, we've got marketing. This is not something you really have to worry about either. So we're kind of going to skip from this. But essentially, this is Shopify's native kind of marketing campaigns that you can create. But again, most of our campaigns are going to be in Facebook Ad Manager. That's where we're going to look for that data. One big thing is the abandoned checkout emails by Shopify. And this is something we'll talk about later on in the course, but this is an automatic campaign that Shopify does for you. Shopify, right from the beginning, will automatically email customers that have put their information in checkout but decided not to complete purchase. So this is where you can see, the results of these campaigns. You don't have to really worry about automations either. Here is discounts, and this is how businesses actually create codes that customers can use. So if you ever see a brand that said, hey, use this particular code and you'll get 15% off, or this is very popular among influencers, this is how you do it. You simply click create discount code, and let's say I'll make this one called Kevin15, and then you can choose what type of discount it is. It can be a fixed dollar amount off. It can just be free shipping. It can be buying one product and you get another product, which is very, very cool that Shopify does this. Or it can just be a simple percentage. This is usually what I'm doing. So let's say we made this a 10% discount. You can make it so it applies to entire order or even specific products in case you're running a promotion on a specific collection or a specific product. And then you can have minimum requirements, right? There are sales that you can run where it's, hey, if you do spend $100, then you get this code, and this kind of happens. And you can decide to limit the number of times this code is used, limited use for one customer. If you're scared that, hey, this customer has this code and they're just gonna abuse it. One big use of discounts that we like to do is to give customers store credit. So basically, we'll give them some sort of discount code very unique to them, and as a result, they're going to get a fixed amount back, right? So if you wanted to give an angry customer, let's say $100 of store credit, and their name was Sam, you could call the code, like let's say Sam store credit, and then a bunch of random numbers, and you give this to them. This is a very unique code, and you want to limit by specific customer even, so only they can use it. Or you can just limit by one-time use per customer, and they'll be able to use this code. Or you can limit the number of times this discount can be used in general if you want to protect yourself against that. So again, discount codes are really, really cool, and this is how you make them for your site. Here is where you have apps. All the apps that you're going to install over time are going to be seen here. I'll do a lesson about Shopify App Store and how to leverage that. That's all you have to know at this point about apps. Here is themes, right? What a theme is basically the skeleton that you're able to design a website on, right? What Shopify has done really, really well is made it so someone without much development experience can create an online business, and the website is definitely a part of the equation there. So I will do a lesson on how you can navigate themes and also the themes that I recommend for you to use. So don't worry about that. One thing you do have to know is that you can download theme files and also upload theme files. So you have a particular theme that you really like using and you want to use it for a different store. Technically, this is frowned upon, but you can basically get away with it. What you're sacrificing is just that if you only bought the theme file once and use it on a different store, you can't get customer support on the other store with a theme file. But other than that, you're free to buy a theme one time and use it multiple times across Shopify. And then how you do it is you just upload the theme file after you download the theme file. And here, if you are really good at development, have had some experience before, you can actually click edit code, and this will let you get very deep into the weeds of customizing what your Shopify will look like. And I know a lot of people that are really good developers, they surely love this aspect of it. Up next is going to be blog posts. This is not something I really mess around with, not something you really have to worry about. Here is going to be how you make a particular page. So if you're just on the trial, or you just started out, you might see this notification here. Online store is password protected, right? This means that if someone goes onto the store, remember we bought the domain a while ago and it was urbanbrigade.com, right? So if I go to urbanbrigade.com over here, you can see that it's password protected, right? How you get rid of that is you go back to pages and you just click disable password and bam, it's no longer protected. So this is where you actually create pages, okay? This is where you create a contact us form. This is where you create a terms and conditions page, where you create a shipping FAQ page. Any page that you see on a website that isn't a category of products, right? So this page right here that says our story, this is gonna be where you create it, and all you do is click add page and you can already start designing, right? So you can give the page a title and give it some content in the body, very similar to the product page in terms of creation. And here there's even templates that are made for you. So there's two templates. One is the basic page template, which is what something like our story is gonna be like. And then the other template is the contact template. This is how you make a contact form. So if you want customers to be able to contact you, right, in the form such as this one, that's how you create it. So it's very easy to create a page like this. For example, I'm just gonna simply try to duplicate this contact form, and I'm gonna put the image right over here just to show you this is exactly how you build a contact form. Insert the image, right? And then what I can do is go down here and copy and paste this. And the box is basically gonna be automatically underneath, generated by Shopify. So I'm gonna paste as plain text, save this thing, and then we can call it contact us. And let's take a look at what this looks like. Yup. If I just formatted this image a little bit better, right, made it a little bigger of a picture, it would have been perfect. And that's how customers will contact you. Up next, we've got navigation. So this is how you determine what's gonna happen on the headers and also what's gonna happen with the footers over here, right? So we already have a main menu. This is gonna be the menu on top. So I can click here, and this is really cool. What you can do is we have a catalog, and let's just say we want to have our collections on here, right? So it links to anything over here. So if you made a contact form, right, you would just go into pages and click contact us, and it would appear on the navigation. But let's say I wanted to make a collection for outerwear. I would just simply save it, and you can make subcategories very easily too, right? You can see how this one is shop, but underneath shop, there's other options, right? So what we can make this one is outerwear, but underneath outerwear, obviously we're gonna put in hoodies, right? So all you simply do is take this and drag it over, and now Shopify knows that this is how it works. Hoodies are going to be underneath outerwear. And what we got to do to just see this happen is we're going to refresh this website, and bam, you can see that under outerwear, there's going to be hoodies. Ignore the theme for now. This is a very ugly free theme, but that's how you do navigation. And it's the same thing for the footer menu. So we're going to go back here. You can see in footer. So if you want to add stuff like the contact us, partner with us, tracking delivery status, returns and exchanges, etc., that's how you would do it. Same way we just customize the main menu, we would just do the footer menu, and we can even create additional menus and navigation as well. And I'm going to talk about all the components that you need on your website in a later lesson. This is just an overview of the platform. Next, you've got domains. We've already bought a domain, so you kind of know how to work with this. One big thing is you can click here to manage your domain. And when you have to do things like G Suite, maybe you have to do some integration with Google Analytics, or you have to input your DNS records, this is where all of that stuff is. Because we bought the domain through Shopify, it's really nice that all the settings are centralized here in the domain area rather than on a separate site like GoDaddy or Namecheap. And you can even transfer a domain to another provider or to another Shopify store here. And here's where you can pick the primary domain. So let's say I bought a bunch of domains. Using this is how you can change which one is going to be the main domain that customers will see once they go onto your website. So you can see here that obviously EarthPack's main domain is earthpack.com. If they would have changed it to earthpacks.com with an S and changed the primary domain, that's what would show up for the customers. But you can see how you can have a lot of active domains at one time, even though there's only one primary domain. So what some people like to do, they'll make a different domain for different countries or geographies. It's up to you if you want to do that. We're going to go into preferences, and this is where you can integrate your Google Analytics account. This is where we're going to be integrating the Facebook Pixel, which I'll walk through as well. Very, very easy to do, and you don't have to worry about any of this, but this is really helpful with SEO, title and meta description. I don't think SEO is a big priority for a dropshipping business, but if you choose to invest your money into SEO, this is where all of that will happen. Now we're going to go into settings, and you can see first it's going to be general settings, okay? This is what determines the store name on the top left over here. So this is how you can repurpose the Shopify account, right? Right now it's just called Best Course Test, but I can change to anything and bam, it's already a different store. The store contact email is for Shopify to contact you. So this email is not where a customer should be emailing. This is where you are best reached, and it should be an email that you're actually checking all of the time, because Shopify will ask you for additional documents or inquire about certain things that are going on with your business. And if you fail to respond, they can sometimes freeze your store or even shut it down. Under customer email, this is the email that customers will see when you email them. And also this is the email that's attached to your contact form. So when we made that contact form, we didn't really input where those contacts will go. How the contact form works is that Shopify will forward whatever the customer types into the message to the email that you provide over here. So this usually ends up being some sort of customer support email, and I'm going to teach you how to set all that email infrastructure up as well in this course. Here's where you're going to put in your store information. You really don't need a legal name of business right now because technically you're a single proprietor. Just make sure your phone number is one that you want customers to be potentially calling you at, right? So in the beginning, I use my personal phone number. I'm going to teach you how to set up a G Suite later on in the course, and that can be the phone number that you use. So don't put your personal phone number here if you don't want customers to see it on their credit card statement, right? Whenever you buy something with your credit card, you get a statement. On the statement has merchant details. It is this stuff right here that's going to go into merchant details. And if you're curious, this phone number is not mine. This address is not mine either. I completely made it up, so don't get any funny ideas. Next up, you can see the time zone. This is how data recording is going to work. Basically, if you pick Pacific time, which is the time zone I'm on, Shopify is going to count the days as Pacific time days, right? If I change this to something crazy, let's say like Eastern time, even though I live in Los Angeles, then Shopify is going to be ahead by 3 hours. So this is something you want to match with your time. And then you can also change the unit system, default weight unit. That doesn't really matter over here. And then you want to make sure your store currency is going to be US dollars. That's what I recommend in terms of the money that Shopify will pay you and pay you out. Obviously, if you've bought this course from a different country, the advice might change that way. Going back to settings, here is where you pick the payment providers. I'll have a full lesson on payment providers, but for now, all you have to do is set up Shopify payments. And in order to set up Shopify payments, you just have to give some information. In the beginning, you're gonna be an individual / sole proprietor, so you don't have to worry about the EIN number. This is something you get after you register your business officially. You just put this information there. You're gonna wanna put your personal details. This is all required for you to start processing payments. A description of your products or services. This can be pretty generic, right? You can say, for example, if we're gonna be selling streetwear, you could say, I am selling urban apparel and accessories on the internet, right? So it can be something very, very basic. No one really checks this. This is going to be the statement descriptor that appears on a customer statement. See how it automatically took my phone number from general? So this is where you can change the phone number that customers will see, and make sure that your descriptor is something that is reasonable, right? So if my store is going to be called Urban Brigade, I can make it Urban Brigade, right? And then whatever phone number I want to use, usually it's going to be a G Suite number. And here's where you put your banking information so Shopify can actually deposit money into your account once you've generated sales. For this, in the beginning, use your personal bank account. That's perfectly fine. As you start scaling up, I would say once you are very, very confident that you can do like $50,000 or more a month in revenue, that's when you can think about setting up a business bank account, getting a business entity formed, or after you hit a certain sales threshold, Shopify will actually ask you to set up a business entity as well. So that's when you can think about it. But in the beginning, just use your personal bank account and you just click complete account setup and you should be able to start processing payments right away. So we're going to go back here. One thing you definitely want to do is you want to deactivate PayPal Express checkout. Look to the unit section where I talk about payment processors to understand why I don't like PayPal. And you don't really have to worry about these until you do decide to move off the Shopify payments and use a third-party provider, which I do cover in the payment processing section of the course. Up next, we've got checkout. So this is where you can customize your checkout experience. This is where you want to upload a logo to your checkout experience, or else it's going to look kind of ugly. And you can see right over here is checkout. It's under this theme, and you just select the image that you want to appear at checkout. So right now it's this generic checkout, right? It just says best course test, or it's going to say whatever you called your Shopify. It looks a lot cleaner when you have a logo on here, and this is what the classic checkout experience looks like. So we're going to go back to checkout, and here is if you want customers to be able to have accounts. There's really no use for this in dropshipping. I don't really recommend it. So we're gonna go to the next one. To checkout, customers can check out using either their phone number or email. I really recommend having customers can only check out using email, because sometimes phones are just a little weird where if your automated texting service that's going to be sending tracking information, let's say their phone has some sort of privacy blocker, they might think like, hey, wow, I didn't get notified about my order. Email is something that is on them to use, right? If they input their email, if they input it wrong, they don't get notifications, it's their fault. And it's very, very intuitive to receive emails for your information. Up next, you can download the Arrive app from their order status page. So I'm not really sure what the Arrive app is. I think it's a new feature. You don't really have to worry about it. Customers can choose to add a phone number, email to receive shipping updates. Yes, you definitely want to give customers a chance to receive updates. Under here, you're gonna wanna require first and last name. This is gonna be really important because it's information that we can track and then leverage on Facebook later, which I'll cover in a different lesson. For company name, you can keep it hidden. You don't really need to know what company is buying from you unless you're like a B2B business on Shopify. Address line number 2, you can make it optional. Shipping address, phone number, you have to make this required. And this is what's really cool. You can require email on this end and then require phone number here. So essentially customers have to provide both pieces of information. And the point of this is, again, you want to make sure that Shopify can notify them accurately and promptly to receive tracking information once you've shipped their order. While customers checking out, use shipping address as billing address by default. That's really good. Give them address auto completion. Basically, Google will suggest what their address could be while they're filling it out. After order has been paid, do not automatically fulfill. Yeah, you want to do this. Do not automatically fulfill any of the order's line items because, again, you don't manage any inventory. What this setting does is when someone orders, it'll actually deduct from the inventory listed on Shopify. You basically have virtually endless inventory because you have an agent that's able to buy from the factory at massive quantities. So you want to keep this setting over here. Keep this automatically archive the order. For additional scripts, some apps will provide you with additional scripts for checkout, such as Shopify. And when that happens, you can just follow the instructions on those apps. For now, you don't need an option. For email marketing, we can have a pre-select sign up option and also show to sign up option at checkout. So when someone's checking out, it's like, hey, do you want to receive any additional marketing? This is very good so that it synchronizes with Shopify's abandoned cart. And then abandoned checkouts automatically send abandoned checkout emails. That's good. Anyone who abandons checkout, right? And then send after 10 hours. That is recommend sending. That's also what I recommend. And I'll teach you how to customize your abandoned checkout email in a later lesson on email marketing. But you want to make sure your checkout language is English. That's going to be the standard language that most people identify with. So that's how you set up this checkout experience thus far. Next, we're going to go back to settings and take a look at shipping. This is where you can set up the different shipping rates that customers actually see when they're buying, right? And the big thing right here is to click on shipping labels because, again, we don't really have any shipping rates. All we are doing is basically drop shipping from AliExpress. So what we want to do is set up the rates over here. And we're going to go to manage rates, right? And you can see you can set different rates for different products. But again, our shipping is so cheap and we have to offer free shipping. And this is where I'm going to give you a little hack. So we're going to delete all these shipping options. And I'm going to delete this, delete all of this. Perfect. And it's going to say that you're shipping from your location /Oberlo. But we're going to create a shipping zone and we're going to make this zone the rest of the world. So this can make it, literally, I think what this does is sets it to every single country. Yeah, we just want to click rest of world and we want to click world so we know what we're creating. And again, customers don't see how you set up shipping in the back end. They just see the different rates. So we're going to add the rate, right? We're going to make a rate called standard shipping. And we're going to make that, let's just say $9.99. Done. And then we're also going to make another rate and we're going to call this limited time free shipping because I'm someone that really advocates for offering free shipping as an option. What this setting does is basically gives your customers a sense of urgency to complete the checkout process because they're going to see the shipping options, limited time free shipping and standard shipping. And obviously most are going to pick limited time free shipping and subconsciously they'll know that, hey, if I don't check out soon, if I don't buy the product today, maybe I have to pay for shipping tomorrow, right? So this is a little tool that I've used that's worked really well for me. And so funny, but what happens all the time is customers will even pay for standard shipping just for whatever reason and you'll just get a little boost on your order. So we're going to go back to settings now. Take a look at taxes. That's not something we're going to worry about. I talk about taxes in this course. Don't worry, you're covered. Locations, where your stock, inventory, fulfill orders, sell products. Don't worry about that either. I already talked about gift cards. Notifications. So this is really important. This is where you can customize what people receive notifications on for your customers, right? The default settings are usually really good. I don't really mess with any of this. And then you can see shipping, delivery, right? You want to give them as many notifications as possible. And this is where you can choose to have your notifications sent, right? So what you can do here is it says new order, send or to order notification subscribers when a customer places an order. So how it's currently set up is every single time there's a new order that goes on in Shopify, I'm going to get emailed, okay? That can get very spammy really quick. Obviously, it's a great problem to have when you have a bunch of orders, but it's not something that you're gonna want when you have thousands of orders a day. So I don't really like doing it. It's up to you. If you wanna keep getting orders, maybe it'll make you very happy. If you turn on Shopify on your phone and download the app, that is the best way to get notifications. It makes a beautiful, beautiful, angelic cha-ching sound and is the best sound of all time. You can also enable desktop or notifications for when you get orders. So this is pretty standard. The big thing here is if you don't want to get spammed out, you want to disable the notification right over here. And then we're going to take a look at files. This is basically all the files that you've ever uploaded on Shopify. It's just a good database to have, but you're not going to be using it that much. Don't worry about sales channels, plans and permissions. You can go over here and this is where you can add staff accounts, right? So let's say you've hired your first VA and you want to give them access to your Shopify. What you can do is actually set the permissions that they have to look at, right? So if you don't want your VA to look at how many orders you're doing every day, you'll exclude home and orders. Maybe all a VA needs to see is just the customer files, right? And this is up for you to decide, but this is how you control the different levels of access for the members that work with you. This is also where you can upgrade your plan when you're ready for the advanced plan. Again, if you're gonna do more than $10,000 in revenue in a month, you wanna be on the advanced plan. It's gonna work out in terms of the transaction fees. Next up, if you want Shopify experts, which is pretty cool, and this is very advanced, so you don't really have to worry about it when you're first starting out, but there's a lot of people that are good at different things that are recognized by Shopify. So this is basically kind of like Upwork, except it's been curated by Shopify at another level. The best way to use Shopify experts is if you ever want to customize your website or your theme even more and you don't know how to do it and you need a developer to do it, or if you just have some crazy thing going on your website that you just can't figure out at all. Maybe you've messed around with the code and you have no idea how to resolve that. This is a good area to go there. You can pause your store and also you can close your store at this level as well. Hopefully none of us are going to be doing that. Next up, store languages. You can add in a lot of different languages, but honestly, English is default. I sell at the worldwide level and it still works out. There's good apps out there that'll make buying for foreigners a lot easier. Here's billing. Here's where you're gonna see all the invoices that Shopify will give you. This includes also all of your subscriptions to apps. So just make sure you're checking this. And make sure that you're uninstalling apps you're not using anymore. A lot of app costs can pile up and then you don't have to worry about legal pages. So there you go. That is Shopify at a very, very high level and how to leverage it.